Well, it looks like we have a quorum.
Yep, we have 6 people.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we've got a quorum, so let's get jamming. If Brian, haven't heard from Corey or Fred, but so hopefully they'll join us. But and so I'm gonna be popping between the agenda electronically and not, so hopefully you can still hear me or see me or whatever.
Okay.
So
All right, so you want me to call the meeting to order?
yes, please.
All right, so we're officially going to call the meeting to order at 12:05. And the first agenda item is the approval of the agenda. So this is, I think per Cheryl, we're going to have to go with a roll call vote today, right, Cheryl?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I will run through the names. If you would see, please say aye for approval.
Well, Dan, if we could start with someone indicating that they move and then someone to second, and then we can move towards the vote.
Okay, Bobby Lovins makes a motion to move.
Second that.
Motion.
Second that.
So Bobby first and Dan second.
Okay.
And then all in favor, I'll run through the list. Dan Verdebar,
Aye.
Dan Sugg, aye. Pam Schermeyer,
Aye.
Bobby Lovins,
Aye.
Cheryl Mitchell,
Aye.
and Miss Kelly Garrett.
Aye.
Awesome. Then the motion is carried. All right. We also have agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes, which included an A, B, and C, so minutes from the downtown plan discussion on February 7th, the Board of Directors meeting on February 14th, and the Financial Report 101 workshop, which was very informative, on the March 7th. So we are going to need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Bobby Lovins makes a motion to approve.
Okay, did you get that, Cheryl?
Yes.
I second it.
And-
It's Kelly.
Second from Kelly. Awesome. All right, and then through the roll call, Dan Verdebar, do you approve?
Yes. Aye.
Aye. Yep. Dan Sugg, aye. Pam Schermeyer,
Aye.
Bobby Lovins,
Aye.
Cheryl Mitchell,
Aye.
and Kelly Garrett.
Aye.
Awesome. Not hearing any nays, and a unanimous approval of the minutes, agenda item number 3. All right, let's move on to the financial review. Everybody has this packet, right?
Yes, everyone should have this packet.
Okay.
There was, and I didn't list it on the agenda, there was also the fixed asset sheets. We were talking about that. That came up in the financial report 101 workshop. We were talking about what was in that one line item. Let me get to that part of my, one part of my, where we were talking about the infrastructure.
Yeah, the
Fixed assets.
376.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's.
Which one? Sorry, which one are we looking at? The budget workbook or which one?
We are looking, it's the first page out of all the financial documents. I just wanted to point out that the DDA fixed assets was
Oh, we're still on that
also
one.
included.
Sorry,
Yep, that
go
was
back
one
to
of
the
the
other
things that we had talked about at the workshop.
Yeah, like what was included in the fixed assets? And it looks like you have equipment of $16,000. We talked about the Gator being in there and some other things, and it looks like we have a pavilion tent.
That was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pam, but that was a purchase through the farmer's market, and that I believe that was unfortunately busted at some point, but that was the pavilion tent was something for the farmer's market.
That's correct.
And then we did talk about alley reconstruction. Was that part of the restaurant commitment that we made?
No, I think, remember that bad debt that we talked about? That, that situation where the DDA fronted the cost, DDA and the city fronted the cost to repair the alley behind Jet's former buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what that is from.
Pam just came in. She said the alleyway, well, she said that way, which is north of City Hall, was just done. What were you saying?
I'm sorry, I can't get it up on my computer, but the alleyway that was done was behind Jet's buildings over by Oga's. That's the
Okay.
alleyway that was done.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there was an alleyway when Martha was here, she had that paved.
Okay. So, but that's still that alleyway reconstruction is still part of that bad debt that we had talked
No,
about the
it's
last
not.
time, right?
Nothing was done there.
Oh, that's the
That
good
would
stuff.
not be
Okay.
any, yep, because
Okay.
nothing was done there, so we wouldn't count it as an asset.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Pam.
So, but otherwise, I mean, the financials should speak for themselves really beyond that extra little point. We're about a little over halfway through the year, and our you know, we're a little low on our revenues, unfortunately. I know Pam was going to be submitting our information to the county, so hopefully we can get hopefully we'll get better numbers, especially through our tax capture and our TIFA funds. So by the that usually comes in sometime in April.
Let's see.
Okay. So any questions on the financials or any concerns after review?
No.
It's not. No.
All right. Without any further questions, and I will note that special thanks to Pam, if she's still there, that financial workshop I think was very well done, and I think a lot of questions answered certainly on all of our parts. It was kind of fun to go through that. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to note that for sure. So, all right, without any other, I need a motion to receive and file the financial reports for February 2020, please.
Motion to file.
I'll second it. Bobby Lovins.
All right, Dan and Bobby, and then through our roll call, I'll go backwards this time. Ms. Kelly Garrett.
I was gonna say here, but yay.
Aye. Cheryl Mitchell.
Yes.
Okay, Bobby Lovins.
Aye.
All right, and Pam Schermeyer,
Aye.
Dan Verdebar,
Aye.
and Dan Sugg, aye. So with hearing no nays, we will receive and file the financial reports for 2020 and move right swiftly along to our committee reports.
All right. Well, there's not much to report for the committees since everything's kind of been on hold. So we're so we'll say no, there's no committee reports, but we'll move swiftly back on then to the director report.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
I included that. Really the biggest thing, and this kind of smushes straight into item 8 as well. I've been communicating, and I've started to copy you guys all on these too. I've been communicating with our businesses on at least once a week. Been sending them out information regarding Oakland County's small business stabilization funds. There is a grant and a loan program that the county has put together. It's there's approximately $3 million available in the forms of grants and loans for Oakland County communities. The county has divided the county up into districts. We're in District 10 with Southfield, and we will be establishing a small internal review committee with Southfield. And basically what's going to happen is all these applications are due to the county by Monday, April 6th at 12 noon. The county will compile all of those and distribute them to their respective districts for our review. And then we are expected to have a really quick turnaround and get our recommendations back for funding within a couple of days. So, and ultimately their intent is to get, the bottom line is they want to get the money out to the businesses by April 17th. So it's pretty aggressive in terms of getting funding out. So it seems as if their guidelines aren't terribly onerous, although there have been quite a few questions about the applications themselves. And so I've been fielding those and trying to help our businesses get through that application process. But so that's the biggie. That is the biggie. There is an update, a coronavirus resource page on the community and economic development side of the website. So really trying to keep that updated and pushing out those notifications to everybody. So I did ask our businesses what are their challenges? What are their challenges and what do they think they're going to need the most help with? I've gotten funny answers such as laundry, which, okay, yes, I need laundry help too. But mostly it is, there's a vast amount of uncertainty regarding taxes and rents. So that, I mean, which is, the rents for sure is something that the Oakland County funds can be used for. I'm not sure what we can do about taxes, or if anything, or if we've started to have any conversations at a higher level about reducing taxes, waiving tax, something. But like I said, this kind of leads me straight into number 8, which is the COVID-19 Business Assistance Program. What ideas do you guys have for business assistance, if any?
It didn't start.
Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, are you talking financially or from a perceptive? And I've seen a lot of at least other communities providing almost daily or sometimes every other day list of who's open, who's not, how we can help, how we can utilize their business in the shutdown. Really a resource, almost a catalog of resources of how to support businesses during this downtime. Now, that's primarily centered around, who's open and what they're offering and how we can use them around restaurants and other things. But there's also been some other types of businesses too. So I think from a perceptual standpoint, we should be able to orchestrate some information share, maybe a resource page, or I don't know how quickly we can spin up some of these kind of things, but being a liaison too and giving them the answers and how they get to some of this help.
Maybe we can also help them with doing something for them, and I don't know, this is totally off the top of my head, about generating money for themselves and like maybe some discounts. I don't know, like for example, with Munson, of all the people that have to wash their clothes and things like that, maybe doing some type of discount program and being able to drop your clothes off, or asking if they can do something with is sanitization even a word? I don't know. I might have
Sure, it's the English language. We can make up our own stuff.
I can do anything I want at this point.
Right.
Just trying to help them with thinking outside the box kind of things and what people may need in the community.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
What do you think, and because I think both. I mean, I think, yes, giving them some practical outlet, I guess, practical forum to kind of share and, like you said, Kelly, think outside the box. I think that's necessary. I think that, I think it's entirely possible that supplementing somehow with financial resources will also be necessary at some point. What do you think the best way to, what do you think the best forum is going to be? I mean, is it, obviously it's online since we can't hang out. Do we want to just continue to do that? Is this something we want to set up like a Facebook page for them, like a separate Facebook page? I know some of our other communities, they have like a private business community page that they can share ideas with.
So maybe can one do a forum somewhat in the same way that we're doing it now, less the 40 minutes only, or is this longer than 40 minutes now?
I think this is longer than 40 minutes because it's under Cheryl now.
Okay, good. So a forum like this to kind of talk some things through, and then do a Facebook social media page.
Okay.
What I'm finding is, at least for the businesses, they don't seem to be as involved in social media, like the Facebook.
Right.
They may be more interactive with internet. The residents are very much Facebook, social media focused. So perhaps giving some thought, as you were all saying, to have like a business roundtable. You could call it a Zoom table, you know, periodically, where the businesses can call in or through internet Zoom connection, and just, you know, here's the latest updates. Do you have any questions? And just trying to keep it to like 30 to 40 minutes. And that might be a way to do a quick and easy without a whole lot of staff time associated with trying to create something that we can do. Because we already have essentially the contact list for the businesses.
And not everybody has been, that's a good idea, because not everybody has been very active on that list when I've contacted them. There's probably a dozen that are very much, you know, going back and forth with trying to figure out, you know, sorting through the different funding questions and the different, you know, those different parameters. So maybe that might get everybody. Okay. The Zoom people.
I mean, I think we should probably just try to reach people in whatever way they're most comfortable online. I mean, if once we have a plan, we could put it on not only a Facebook page, but on our website, an email list, however people want to communicate. I don't necessarily think that we have to keep everything secret from the general public and have it just for business. I mean, not that I don't like the idea of a private forum to kick around ideas, but once we have a plan, it would just be more of a resource page online, whether it's on a website or a Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sent all of you something too, as far as like business owners or tenants in the area that want, what can I do for relief? There's MEDC money and then SBA money. So I sent that to all of you just now.
Okay.
So it'll be on your email. But if you have something that you hear about, or a tenant that's say, hey, I'm in trouble, I can't make my rent. These are solutions that they can take and hopefully get some funding in the interim.
Okay. All right.
And then like a lot of landlords too are getting thrown questions regarding rent holiday, reduced rent,
Right.
rent abatement. So those are things that landlords are grappling with too, because obviously their expenses don't stop. They're still paying taxes, they're paying expenses, common area maintenance, all of the above. So for them too, you know, they've got to have kind of an answer to their tenants requesting rent relief. And this could be an answer by sending them this little email I just sent you. So.
Well, and do we want to try and set up some sort of financial assistance program as well? Like in addition to doing sort of like the Zoom table, or making sure that they have these resources, these outside resources, is there anything that we want to do financially just I mean, maybe
Proactively?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, can we talk through this real quick, Susie? Because I want to make sure I understand what we're doing here. So we're talking about approving these planner stuff, right? Separate?
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
then-
the budget amendments, yes.
Yeah, and then you said is there a suggestion then to reprogram some of the facade money over to a potential financial assistance fund for COVID,
Yes.
or did I misread that?
Nope, that was my thought on that one.
Yeah, we certainly haven't spent the budgeted money for the facade program anywhere near to what the capacity was. So I think that is an opportunity. The hard part comes is how do you manage through that and what's it going to be and how do you feel like you've fairly distributed to everyone?
Right.
Mhm.
Well, and I've kind of been marinating on that thought for a little while as well, since we have about $13,000, once assuming you all, you agreed to it, you approved the proposed budget amendments, we still have about 13,000, right? So to kind of play with, I guess. And so one of the things that we have is our business licensing, right? And so right now I talked to Kelda, she's processed approximately 40 business licenses so far. So that's about a third of the business license renewal applications that we sent out. I mean, so that could be one of those parameters of how do you or like what's an eligibility criteria, I guess is the phrase I'm looking for. And you have to have a valid business license within the city. And I've been trying to get a sense of what the average monthly rent costs are, and they're all over the place. I mean, some of them.
Yeah, because it's based on size and square footage and building.
So.
Right.
But from a business, what do we charge for a business license?
No, business license. A renewal is $25.
Oh, that's
They're not. They're reasonable. I think a new one is $50.
So the issue
I
is
thought
not
it
the
was
affordability, but some of the businesses may not actually be open and operating to be handling such
Right.
matters.
Right.
Hey, Bobby, are you open right now?
Well, we're open virtually. It's very dire because we need wet signatures. So I can write business, but I can't execute because I need a wet signature. So to say I'm a little nauseated is an understatement.
I think Michigan's about to approve the remote notarization law, kind of ad hoc for that too. That might be able to help you on that. So.
Yeah, that's encouraging. Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing curbside and driveway closings right now. So. Great.
Yeah, I'll be at your location in 30 minutes. But Dan, with what you sent out, just and I might be jumping around, but for the financial relief, this is not through Friedman. It's through.
It's MEDC and SBA.
And this has already been shared with our businesses. Right, Susie? Okay.
Yep, and that's all on the website too.
Okay.
I've been trying. I've been trying to, and all of the applicants have to Oakland County, of course. I appreciate that they're trying to push the money out really fast, but their original application was an Excel spreadsheet, and they've since refined it to ensure that all applications are complete. So now everybody has to resubmit. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass, but what are you going to do if you want to get up to 10 grand, right? So, but that is all, they've all gotten that information, and that's all on that coronavirus resource page. Have you seen that resource page online on our website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, checked it out.
Okay.
So how do we I'm all for spending 13 grand to help the businesses, but I don't know how you do that, honestly. And if you try to spread it against everybody that's affected, that's going to be like $12 a piece,
Right.
Is there a way to incentivize, the activity once the businesses come back and then throw that money at it versus shop our businesses and win $1,000 card or something along those lines? Or
Well, and that's another avenue, right? Is because I think Bobby, because one of the questions I had posed to the businesses, and I don't know, one of my 50,000 emails to them was, you know, what do you need help with? And one of the suggestions, you know, like, okay, is it rental assistance? Is it post-recovery marketing assistance? And I think that may, and none of this actually has to, I mean, it doesn't have to be immediate. I mean, I would like to kind of maybe this ends up just being a project for the whole of this upcoming fiscal year, is more of a business assistance type of COVID recovery. And maybe we take that $13,000 and put a chunk of it towards a marketing campaign to help all of our businesses.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's possible too. Something that's,
How many restaurants do we have in Latrobe Village that are doing carryout? Do we know? Do we even know that number?
I think it's only 3, which
Yeah.
would be, and I think it's Olga's, and correct me, Cheryl and Susie if I'm wrong, but Olga's, Jersey Mike's, and Happy's.
What about Domino's?
Oh, like I always forget about Domino's. So yeah, Domino's is open.
It's hard to think of them as a restaurant, but
Right, exactly.
So no jagged fork?
No, because I
Thank
talked
you.
to her and she said, well, she's been keeping me abreast of everything, and it just was not financially feasible for her to stay open, which I sent her all this information that you know, sent just to try to get her to open up again, but
Yeah. Oh, too bad.
it's too
I mean,
bad.
some restaurants I know are selling groceries now outside of their, I mean, in their
Yeah, I
store.
did that.
So I don't know if that would be an option for Jagged Fork, but it's
well,
legal.
she was willing to give, what we had talked about was she was willing to give food to people that weren't able to get out their house as seniors, but that's kind of turned to a deaf ear. I haven't heard any more about that from her.
I have not heard anything from anybody from Jagged Fork. So
Well, I must
was
be
my
a
thought
friend
was
because
you would-
I hear a lot.
you are the mayor. I'd want to chat with you too.
I keep, duh.
I was thinking along the lines of, like, you know, if you could entice people to buy gift certificates at these businesses that were doing takeout only and bring in their receipts, that you could, you know, reward them with a further gift card or something, like double your money kind of thing. But if we don't have a lot of people open, then.
But that's a good idea, because that's one thing that I'm trying to do with my nail tech right now. Like, I'm sending her my money for the days that I would go anyway. And maybe that's maybe that would be something that we could kind of do, is like, you know, buy a gift certificate if this will be if you normally go somewhere every day or something. And
Right.
Turn in your
maybe-
receipt. If you buy
That's a
$100,
great
would be
idea.
another $20 or something.
That's an
and,
awesome idea.
And then,
Well,
get a discount off of it when you come back, because then that shows that you are still a loyal customer.
And
That's
one of
a
the
very
things,
good idea.
one of the things that Chris is doing was his Step Up LV challenge. And so I did authorize him to buy, I said, buy a bunch of gift cards from Lathrop Village businesses, and we'll, you know, the DDA will cover that money to try and incentivize people to, you know, 1, participate in his program, and 2, keep visiting our businesses, especially when we come back. So, so he was all for it.
The only red flag that I have about that, you guys, is that's really centric to the retail, and we have a lot of services.
Yep.
You know, we have a lot of accountants, CPAs, you know, stuff like that aren't necessarily, we don't even charge somebody to come in the door. That's a free consultation. You know, same with a lot of accountants probably, or whatever we've got up and down. It's not just businesses. I think we have to be mindful of what the businesses are.
Yeah.
So
Well,
could
I have to see the phase
the
2.
could the first business roundtable then be asking the businesses what would be most helpful and supportive to them?
You know,
I
that's
think
probably
so.
yeah. I think that's a good idea, and maybe
Get
even
the data.
Yep. Maybe even having it, you know, this will be our initial roundtable of, you know, of explaining what your needs are, what your pain points are at this point, and then we'll meet again in ironing some things out of how we can help.
Mhm.
All right. That works for me. And first business roundtable data collection. All right. When do you think we should try and shoot to have our first business roundtable?
Sooner the better.
Within the
I don't know
next
how you
week
get
if
that.
possible.
All right.
I'm checking my schedule of all the things I have to do. It looks like I'm open.
Yes, yes. All right, all right. All right. So do it ASAP.
Except I'm not sure how everyone is still celebrating the holiday though, but for Wednesday, it looks like that's Passover begins.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah, the next Friday is Good Friday.
Right.
so maybe do it after Easter.
I
So
think
maybe
so.
the 14th or yeah. I happen to be open the next week also. So maybe the 14th or something.
That's the silver lining of COVID. It opened up Kelly's schedule.
And made her go crazy because now she doesn't know what to do with herself.
What day
Right.
is it? It's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Murphy.
Drink heavily is my suggestion.
This is being recorded,
Gave it
so I
up.
can't say what I would, what I want to.
Gave it up for Lent.
Right. Yeah, I gave up my sanity for Lent.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I gave
My
up my
favorite
sanity.
is what I gave up for Lent was going to the casinos. Thank you, Lord, for just the little blessings of helping me out.
Right, right.
Silver lining.
Okay, so I want to keep this moving along. So under new business, I think we, as a group, said we're not opposed to moving the balance of our facade and sign grant funds, approximately $13,000, into be reappropriated for a yet to be approved COVID-19 assistance fund.
Mhm.
And is anybody not in favor of go ahead and purchasing the hanging flower baskets for $7,000, the 7 planters for $3,100, and the light pole banners for $2,700?
Did you
Well-
say not in favor or in favor?
I said, is anybody in favor or not in favor? Let's open that for discussion. We haven't really talked about that.
Well, I do have a question about that. I mean, I'm in favor of the program. It sounds like a great idea. And I think, self-watering planters is absolutely the way to go.
I got to
But
go to that link. Sure.
I mean, I did the math and I had a little bit of sticker shock.
Yeah.
7 standing planters would be $443 a piece.
Yes.
How does that make sense?
They're also the big self-watering planters too. So my thought on these, and they're excuse me, and I might not have included the brochure. Did I include the brochure? Oh, I included in the links. They're actually really lightweight, all of those things. So they're and they're big, right? They are quite big. I know they're not cheap. And this was part of the capital improvements plan projects that I kind of put together. I looked at these last year at the National Main Street Conference, and part of what makes me like these is that they are all self-watering. Hey, nice elbow. And so I think that given that we have maintenance constraints, I think that it would be a good idea to invest in those kinds of self-watering planters and hanging baskets.
I just want to acknowledge that Fed Prime has just joined us.
Oh, hey, Fred.
Hey.
Fred.
Well, let me put it this way. Did you explore other companies other than?
I have not, and I can go through and I can look for other ones. I just knew that was
I
the
just
peeling one.
commercial self-watering planters, and there was a couple other companies, they don't give prices online, that dealt with very similar products, the polyethylene containers and all the self-watering system and whatnot. One's called desertplanters.com and another one is urbanscapeplanters.com. So I think would just be at least worth, a call.
Okay.
And then my question was going to be, had we done, I know we'd probably done some of this before, but we haven't done all of it, correct?
The only thing on that list that we've done is the banners. We've not had any hanging flower baskets or planters or anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are planters out front. There's like 3 planters out front and there's 4, I think, around the pavilion. So I don't know when those were installed or not, but so these are all essentially these are all new activities.
Mm-hmm.
Who would install all of this stuff?
The banners for sure would be installed by the company that did it for us last spring, which was
Last
Media
year.
Fresh.
Yep.
I have grand designs of asking DPS to install the hanging baskets. But if they're, I mean, I'm sure their time is going to be pretty tight as well. I would also honestly ask, it's a full disclosure for anybody that didn't know, it's my neighbor that runs Media Fresh who did the banners for us.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, I am not above asking him if he would also, if he just does installation charges as well, installation of other things as well. So, or if he has any recommendations of who might do that, but.
Well, you certainly could ask him.
Right.
Right.
So just to clarify, the 15,000 for the streetscaping does not include the costs for installation?
No, it includes the cost of installation for the banners only, since that's the only cost I have.
So should the motion related to these amendments, assuming that it goes forward, should that include the installation cost as well? And do we have an estimate of what that would be?
I do not have a cost of what the installation cost would be. Right.
Well, the cost of the planters and the brackets is $12,850, so that's less than the $15,000 budgeted. But I don't know if installation would be more than the difference or not.
The installation, let's see.
And just while you're looking there, Susie, it did say these projects included the purchase and installation of the following. So.
Oh yeah, I did say that, didn't I? Hold that, guys. Give me until 1 o'clock. Okay. Go back outside. You guys are doing awesome. Sorry.
Deck Academy's in recess. Send them back outside.
Yeah, outdoor recess. Yeah. Let me see.
So then my related question is, in regards to the installation, might there be some costs for tapping into a water source?
For the planters?
Right. They're self-watering, or is this just from rainwater?
No, I think it means you only have to water them every week, 1 to 3 weeks, that sort of thing, but you still have to water them. Yeah.
Yep.
Fill up a reservoir or something. And
yes. Yeah.
So then I guess my question would be, how is the ongoing maintenance cost going to be addressed?
Ongoing maintenance is, so, oh my gosh, darn it, too many things open. Ongoing maintenance, sorry. So ongoing maintenance costs, those are reflected, like I have that broken out in my capital improvement stuff. And so and that's an estimate of, I mean, it's mostly an estimate of materials. So in future years, for example, the flower baskets, you know, I have an ongoing maintenance cost of approximately $350 for the course of the next, you know, 7 years, I think that goes out, right? And that assumes, you know, new flowers every year, somebody to go out and water, new soil if we need new soil type of thing. I mean, it's kind of it's an exercise in guesstimation.
You look, I'm just on the website looking right now. If you look at the actual hanging planter, it's got a reservoir you pour water in that feeds up into the plant, and you fill that reservoir up, looks like, to what Pam said, I think every 2 or 3 weeks. So it's not like somebody's turning a faucet on and it just always stays watered. So somebody would need to water these though.
I know in Clausen what they did, and so this is the beauty, I guess, of having the gator. In Clausen, what they did is they had a gator that had a water reservoir, right? And they had somebody go out once every 2 weeks
with a wand
and water, you know, with the gator bright and early in the morning, and they watered all the hanging baskets. So, you know, if we have to drive around in a gator at 6 o'clock in the morning on, you know, on a Monday, I guess.
Would they be winter proof? Do you have to cover those in the winter or move them back to some central area?
That those I think we're gonna have to move back at some central area. I mean, there's gonna be a lot more coordination with DPS. And so I wish I had more answers available for that. But I mean, there is gonna be some more, you know, some end of season logistics that need to get worked out. And
so for the purpose of the motion for today, would it be appropriate then to consider a motion for the $15,000 for the capital improvement plan for the 3 identified projects, the flower baskets, the planters, and the light pole banners, and add another amount, I don't know, 3,000 or something relative to the installation costs?
That sounds.
Well, there's already kind of a padded budget, Cheryl. That the total of the 3 there are like 12 something. So you already have a budget in there, I think, for installation.
Okay, so the 15 is sufficient, you think then, Susie?
Well, I don't know.
If it goes over, can Susie cover that? Because she can pay, what is it, $1,000 or $1,500 out of her own discretion?
Sure.
So if it came a little bit over, couldn't we just do that as a workaround?
We could, or we could add the extra $3,000 that Cheryl suggested and take, you know, I mean, if we don't have an initial plan to spend that remaining $13,000 for the COVID-19 assistance, I mean, we can certainly say there's 10, you know, we'd rather use 10 for business assistance and then do the extra $3,000 to cover any installation costs.
Right.
I mean, it's just, I guess it depends on whether or not you want to be proactive and possibly over budget for these capital improvement plan activities, or if you want to, you know, possibly just do a budget amendment again later. I mean, that's, I guess, kind of what it comes down to, in my opinion. It's up to you guys.
I say keep it as is and do a budget amendment if we need to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Now, if we're going to do this, I want to make sure, and I would love some input, maybe even from Kelly on this. I want to make sure it's substantial. If we're going to spend the money, let's make it look really good. So, you know, if we're going out to, when you drive through Lathrop, you're like, holy crap, look at those flowers, you know, that's really cool.
Right.
That would be my point.
That they
is I
know
do
that
it.
they're somewhere. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
They should be
So-
considered small.
Dan, one of the things you have to keep in mind to manage your expectations is our lampposts are set back
Mhm.
from the road. Remember, you're not going to get as much eye candy as you think because of that issue.
So
Yeah, it
would
looks
it
like
be
the pot
appropriate,
itself is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, would it be appropriate to have two motions? One is for the current year and the reprogramming of the facade grant improvement and sign grant funds towards the local stimulus project, whatever it's going to be for businesses, and the other one be the 15,000 to go into the 2020 capital improvement plan.
I like
Sounds
that.
great. Yeah.
Okay, I will make the motion to reprogram the 13,000 for the facade improvement and sign grant fund towards the business revitalization project in the current fiscal year.
Can I get a second on that, please?
I'll second that.
Great. And I'm going to go through, Fred, for your benefit, I'm going to go through a roll call vote that is required because we are virtual. So let's start with Dan Verdebar,
Aye.
Pam Schermeyer,
Aye.
Bobby Levens,
Aye.
Cheryl Mitchell,
Aye.
Kelly Garrett,
Aye.
Fred Prime,
Aye.
and Dan Sog, aye. Hearing no dissension, the motion is passed.
All right.
And can I get a motion to approve the capital expenditure of $15,000 to be reprogrammed to the streetscape for the 2020 budget?
I'll make a motion on that end, Dan.
I'll approve it.
And a second from Dan Verdebar.
Yes.
I do have a question about this one, and it might be silly. I know
Alright.
if it might not change anything, but as I'm looking at this silly question, this is including the actual flowers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this includes actual flowers. Flowers, dirt. Yeah, oh yeah. I felt like a tool shopping when I was doing this. But yes, it includes flowers and dirt and
Is that, do we have are you guys looking at a picture of this? What this
I
is?
was. I just, and the reason why I was asking that, because I was looking at the picture and I'm like, wait a minute, this says hanging flower baskets and doesn't really say and flowers. Or, you know, so, sorry.
yes,
Sorry.
I included flowers.
Yeah,
and
she
dirt.
had actually sent a link out in the instructions, if you saw this. Kind of right down here was the link to it. It's called earthplanter.com/shop. Self-watering, and then you'll pull up the Pro Series 22, I think is one she picked. And
It's under,
It's a imagine.
it's from yesterday. She
Okay.
sent it, and the proposed budget amendments.
And just to clarify,
To Kelly's question, Susie, can I ask another clarifying question?
Sure.
And this is, again, a stupid question, but have we confirmed that they're sun tolerant, like they're not going to be impatient? Because obviously they would just burn up.
I haven't
But do you have a
specifically
choice
picked any
over what the flower?
flowers. So if you have a flower preference, then by all means, you're going to help me shop for flowers. How's that?
well,
Because obviously we don't want to waste the money and put in
Oh, no.
something that within a few weeks is going to not cut the mustard on a, 90-degree burning up with all the heat.
Oh, have no worries. We're going to have a planting party, right? Like that's how the planting's going to happen. We're going to have a planting party.
Just be sure to wear your hazmat suit.
Yes. Hazmat suit. You sit 6 feet away from people, and we're gonna plant whatever beautiful flowers, sun tolerant. I guess. High sun tolerance.
Well, count me in. I've planted everything and have a lot of failures that I can look back on for guidance.
Perfect.
Hopefully this will be a Memorial Day to Labor Day benefit, and by that time, hopefully we're all roaming freely among this earth. So,
Right, and maybe too, Susie, to Dan's point just now of saying it's a, Memorial Day-ish timeline, what about also having some messaging that's maybe some pro-COVID amongst all of, heartache and tough times? It's a bright and sunny spot. I mean, we're offering some a ray of hope. I don't know.
Right.
I think we should publicize that it's also in the name of COVID I don't know. We could write up a lot of messaging.
I'm totally down for that.
Hope springs eternal. We will turn the corner.
Hey, it's
What about
gonna be
flags?
60
What about some
degrees today.
flags? What if we get some flags out there too? The good old American flag.
Maybe. Yeah. I know Chris probably still has some from last year.
well, I think we'll maybe more conversation around when these go up and order and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, we need some time to coordinate that. But we also have the cleanup thing too. Maybe that's the same weekend or something. We can kind of coordinate all of that kind of thing.
Yes, and that's still tentatively scheduled for June 6th. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We need a roll
all right,
call
so-
for that motion though.
Well, we had a
Yeah, we
motion,
do. The
second.
motion's
Any
still
other
happening.
open discussion before we go to roll call? All right, without hearing any, Dan Verdebar,
Aye.
Dan Sugg, aye. Pam Schurmeyer,
Aye.
Fred Prime,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Fred Prime, may I add?
Yeah,
We gotta make sure we get that straight on here.
Clarify
Oh,
that.
did I not change that one? Son of a gun, sorry.
I know. Yeah, Bobby Levens,
Aye.
Cheryl Mitchell,
Aye.
and Kelly Garrett.
Aye.
All right, without hearing any dissension, we are passing that motion. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Doing good work here.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah. All right. So it looks like last but not least is our draft budget. I just sent you guys the numbers just to kind of get a sense for what I'm thinking. And I still have to go through and update our projected budget numbers.
Yeah.
But I need to get some information from the county, and I got to talk to Pam. And Pam had to walk me through the calculations last year, so we're gonna have to do it again this year. So I've just used the same numbers, but really I just want to get your initial feedback on what I've proposed so far, particularly for on the expense end of things. I know there's a whole lot of sticker shock because I'm proposing to spend like, another
200 grand. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all out of the fund balance. And really the big expense for that is the side lot parking along Southfield Road as we start to take steps to mitigate the parking constraints for the Southfield Road project. So
I
that's what that
apologize
means.
to interrupt, but I have to leave, but we still have a quorum since Prime. That's your first name and last name together, Prime. Since Fred is here. So let me know if I need to do anything else. I apologize, but I'm supposed to be somewhere in 2 minutes. So
No
And
worries.
Kelly, could you call me when you get a free chance today? too?
sure I will.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye. See you guys.
Weekend.
Aye, Kelly.
All right, so that increase, you have what, 175,000
Yeah.
under streetscape? That's the side lot?
Yes, that's mostly the side lot. I think there's a little bit in there from, I've got in there, and I don't know if my
What's
notes.
a bike repair kiosk?
So, hey, in case I didn't tell everybody, we got a complete streets grant from SEMCOG, right? To install our wayfinding signage for our non-motorized path, right? So We're going to be doing, the city is going to be doing pavement marking, signage, and then we have in our grant application, we'd put bike repair kiosks. So it's usually like a pole approximately the size of my youngest child who has been kicked outside for recess. But it's like a 3-foot little pole, and it's got, it's got an air pump to it. It's got some little tools. So if your bike is busted or wobbly or whatever, you have like a little area. You have
so you kind of hang the bike on it and you can work on the chain and thing or something, right?
Yep, exactly. So one of the, and here he is. Everybody say hi to Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hey. Jonathan, what are you doing on June 6th? We may need some help.
Do you think you can help plant flowers? Yeah.
Yeah, all right, cool. Well, we got one volunteer.
All right, well, yeah, he's voluntold now. Dude, you have, it is 1 o'clock on the dot, 10 more minutes, and then I know. So sorry, meeting's almost over. I knew he was gonna be the one to bomb us, you guys.
Okay, so
one of those bike repair kiosks is going to be somewhere in Municipal Park. He literally just shook my camera. We just don't know where exactly it's going to be in Municipal Park yet. That was going to be one of the things that Chris and I worked on right before all the COVID hit the fan. So the bike repair kiosk is approximately $6,700. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
There's
Susie,
like a cement pad there. I mean, it's more than just a little 3-foot stand, but there's some more to it. So.
Is this associated? And I'm sorry if you talked about this. Is this associated with the bike path that we're giving the grant for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Susie, this is probably just me, but I don't understand the last column in the 2021 budget workbook. To me, it seems like the numbers are completely inverse.
Yes. Thank you for pointing that out. Other Pam also pointed that out, and I meant to change it, but you saw my cute interruption. Yes, those are opposite. I'm sorry. I didn't, that was my bad. They should be, and where did I put this here actually?
But are we voting on this, or are you just informing us?
Nope. I'm right now I'm informing. And if you have, we will need to present this this does need to go to council. Cheryl, is their first meeting in May?
The first budget meeting is actually this coming Monday for a study session. So the budget study sessions coincide with their regular meeting dates so far.
Okay.
And I'm trying to pull it up somewhere.
Well, if you have to take it before them, then don't we have to vote on it so that you can do that, Susie?
Well, I think I've got at least a little bit of time to get all of your feedback.
April.
And then because I would like to present final numbers and the pretty document with the text that kind of explains some of this stuff as well. But
so the council's adopting the budget at their May 18th meeting, so if we could have your numbers at least a week prior to then to give you a sense of the time frame.
Right, that's kind of tight.
I mean, I really would like your feedback on this before their meeting. And it's funny because we said at the last meeting, our last in-person meeting, we changed all of our meeting dates. Now we're going back to monthly meetings.
That's what we're technically not supposed to even be meeting.
Well, I think virtually it may be easier though, so.
Agreed. And I think that, it's possible, since our schedules are generally clear these days, to have a special meeting to discuss, to make sure that our budget is in a place that we want it to be, so we can approve and forward it on to council. right? So
I'm open 17th or the 24th if you want to have another budget
Yeah,
meeting.
you'd have to call a special meeting. Exactly, Dan.
Anybody else available on
Yeah, I'm
17th,
good.
24th?
I'm good with Dan. Yeah.
I'm flexible.
Anytime.
All right.
Me also.
all
You
right.
could tidy that up and then maybe check with Brian to see how he's doing on his small business lending right now and see if maybe he can, because I think he would have a good voice in this too. So
Agreed.
Certainly.
Okay. And I will make sure that I get my my numbers. I'll
Tightened
make
up,
sure I
yeah.
get them adjusted accordingly, Pam. Sorry.
all right.
Any other initial feedback, or want to take a little bit of time and digest and get back to me?
Any,
Fair enough.
I know we briefly talked about this at our promotions committee meeting, but any thought in seeing or just asking what Oak Park did to get that signage on the overpass and put that on Southfield Road and own that for Lathrop Village?
Right, that's been on my list, but I haven't. So
I'm just curious what that cost. I mean, if you're really trying to designate your exit, obviously, if we're gonna we have to own Southfield Road as both a positive and a negative. We might as well use it to the positive and see if we can't. I don't know what everybody else feels about what Oak Park did, but I now know where Oak Park is.
We
So
want that. Brian wants that too, that
Yeah.
iron
you know
stuff.
what? Actually, we talked about, where was this? We had, Cheryl, was this part of that meeting with the road commission? There, and the road commission is kind of, they must not have to work during COVID or something, because nobody's getting back to me. But so 696 is supposed to be, we had a meeting with them on March 5th. And they told us that 696 is supposed to be reconstructed in 2024. So we I still have to reach out to the MDOT to find out about their bridge. So I'll ask them too.
yeah, we're not talking about reconstructing the bridge though. We're talking about bolting a sign onto the existing bridge that could be removed in a reconstruction and put back up. So
I know, but if they're
But you
going to
don't
be
know what the
reconstructing,
reconstruction might look like, so you would probably want it to coincide with whatever
sure, that makes
that
sense.
configuration is going to be.
and any overpass, I mean, they've been ripping down, I mean, come on, they've been ripping down bridges left, right, and center these days. So I would think
Would that
we
affect Oak Park too, or no?
probably, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's worth asking. How, oh my God, sorry. Your ninja skills are pretty good there, kid. And the other ones here.
I want to make sure that if we have an opportunity, let's say it's, I don't know, $100,000 to put a sign up there. That's something that we should be budgeting for maybe this year and next year if we work toward that.
Okay.
You know, and in my opinion, would benefit the Downtown Development Authority both right at the heart where, you know, we don't do a lot south of 696 anyhow, at least perceptually, and that would benefit everyone.
Okay.
You know, you're kind of putting us on the map. So
Yeah,
I just didn't want to lose sight of that.
Okay. No, I will make sure that I ask. I'll email Kim and ask her how they did it, what it cost, and any other good information she might feel like sharing. So,
Great.
awesome.
All right. So, and then any other, you know, thoughts, make sure you record those. If we have a budget meeting, we want to officially use our time and get that approved at that meeting. So that brings us to public comment. I don't know if we invited the public to this call. Sure, I don't know how that works, but.
They were. I don't see anyone in the waiting room.
Okay,
I
all right.
do want to mention to you that the city is issuing shortly an RFP for the landscaping work that had previously been conducted by a local business. So I just wanted to let you know that we're, if you know of anyone who is in that field, that we will be looking for quotes relative to maintaining the flower beds and I guess just around the building as well as the parks and the entryways to the city, which are usually maintained under the budget of the DDA.
Okay.
Would the new flower pots include that then, Cheryl?
They're not included presently because I don't think that Chris was aware of it, who's the recreation coordinator, was aware of their existence at the time the RFP was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So I
They
guess the
would be going
question is,
forward, yes.
did we want to include that as part of the quote? I don't think it's been posted yet.
Probably
Sounds
so.
like maybe on
Well,
a
then we're not
go-forward
making-
basis, I would think, so.
Yeah, because then we're not making use of the gator, because we can take the gator and drive around.
Well, I think would mean the actual planting, the initial planting, the year, supply the flowers and put them in. This year, it sounds like that's going to be done with the purchase. Next year would be on a maintenance, put the baskets back up and replant them.
Oh, I
Would
see. Yeah,
be-
right.
Yeah,
So my initial thought is for matters such as that, to have it with the part-time staff that is hired generally over the summer and early fall, who do the alley cleanups, to also have them do the maintenance of the flowers. That's probably the least
the water.
expensive way of getting that
Yeah.
done, and we can use the gator to do that.
That sounds good to me.
I agree.
So.
All right.
Okay, I got to jump off the phone.
All
I
right,
gotta get
well, let's
to
adjourn it
another
real quick. So any other public comment? We don't have hearing none, so you good, Susie?
I'm good.
All right,
move
we're
to
gonna adjourn and
adjourn.
we're gonna wait for a meeting for the 17th to 24th. You'll put that on the calendar, and with that,
Yes.
we're adjourned.
Right.
Wait, we need a second.
Oh,
Cheryl
need a second.
motioned.
Support.
Fred supports the second.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
all
thank
right,
you.
thank
All
you.
right,
Be
thank
safe.
you.
Yep.
for the leadership.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.